Right, Martin, we're standing here in the bivouac at Hougomont in Belgium, Battle of Waterloo, bicentenary. Tell me a little bit about the uniform that you're wearing.
Right. This uniform is the uniform of the 42nd Regiment, known as the Black Watch, colloquially. It's a Napoleonic British regiment, obviously Highlander. It was raised in the Highlands of Scotland as a sort of military police unit. There were 8 companies, and there's a real Black Watch regiment, the real soldiers in the UK, but we are living history soldier impressionists, and this is the uniform of that 42nd Regiment back in 1815.
Now, you don't sound like you have a very Scottish accent.
No.
You've obviously come a long way for this reenactment.
No.
Where are you from?
I'm from Perth in Western Australia, and we have about 6 42nders there. Overall, in the whole of Australia, we've got about maybe 80 in the club. It's actual national club in Australia, but there is a 42nd in about 5 other countries, 6 other countries in the world, just the one regiment.
So, do you travel to Napoleonic reenactments outside of Australia very often?
This is the first one I've ever been to, ever. This is my bucket list trip. I got very interested in doing it just prior to 1995 when we had Lieutenant Stein in our Perth 42nd Regiment. He went to Waterloo and I didn't, because I couldn't afford to. And I said to myself, one day I'll get to Waterloo, I'll always do it. And as those Waterloos advanced every 5 years, the 2015, the commemoration one came up, 200 years, I'm not missing that. There's no way in hell I'm missing that one, so right. I made it happen.
Right, so you were on the field for the first major reenactment last night. How did that go?
It was mind-boggling and eye-opening. You're standing there, firstly it's the drill and the camaraderie with the fellows and all the languages that you have to sort of coordinate and speak. Once I got up on the ridge and in the ryegrass and looking down at the French, I just looked at from one side to the other and went, oh my God. The French was just a huge unit on one side and on the other side, and as we were firing like crazy, and they got closer and closer, I thought, what am I doing here? And then I suddenly realised I'm here because I want to enjoy myself and because I've always wanted to do it. So
right.
It felt like it's actually being in the battle.
Right. And at the end of the day, 6,000 odd reenactors, it was only a fraction of what the real thing was like.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. They had about 230,000 in the real battle or more, and that's in both sides.
So now, from a spectator's perspective, looking at the field last night, the rye was essentially pristine. We had around 6,000 reenactors on the field. How did you all do it? Presumably you didn't have a dry run out on the field.
No, we've never had a dry run, and actually, funny enough, the surface you're walking on, because you've got the buckle shoes on, actually undulates and has divots in it, and there were little canals. You could even trip on the ryegrass. Now you've actually got to stay shoulder to shoulder with your other soldiers in line, and listen to the sergeant, obey the commands, and the drill formation changes happen within about 5 or 6 seconds. You have to wheel backwards or move into formation or do something and listen really close to your local sergeant. And that was the thing. I was concentrating like hell, basically.
So presumably, from the reenactors' point of view last night, there was a real hierarchy, presumably briefings on high. Your officers would have known what they were supposed to be doing, and you as rank and file just did what you were told.
That's right, yeah. It's basically, it's actually, people might not think so, it's actually quite a lot of fun being a private. It's all theatrical ranks, so it's based upon your expertise and your willingness and your participation and your knowledge. So you have to know all the drill orders from 1810. So we just listened to our Sergeant Schulz, a Grenadier Sergeant. We joined with the German or Deutsche 42nders, and he was brilliant. And you just look for the S-pontoon, which is a big spear-like thing on the field, and listen to his orders real critical. And then you bang, change formation, bang, fire, start loading, etc., etc.
Right. So you'll be looking forward to the second reenactment tonight then?
Yeah, I said that we're going to be facing cuirassiers, aren't we? So they're going to be coming up and down the hill with a mass French cavalry, and we're going to be form square, fixed bayonets, form square. And I tell you what, that's pretty exhausting. You know, we were actually knackered by the time we got back. We were all marching in step when we went out. When we came back, we were like out of step, tired, dragging ourselves back, and sore feet like hell. So.
All right, Martin, well, I hope you managed to repulse those cuirassiers tonight and that none of the squares get broken. Thanks for your time.
Definitely. Thanks very much.